welcome to the commencement exercises of Gould Academy for the year 2017. Please remain standing for the benediction, for the invocation. We are honored to have Dr. Tim Laconey deliver our graduation invocation. Dr. Laconey, the youngest of 5 children, grew up in southern New Jersey, earned his bachelor's degree at Drew University, his master's in divinity at Andover Newton Theological School, and his doctorate in ministry from Bangor Seminary. He is the pastor at West Parish Congregational Church, the beautiful place where we held our baccalaureate service yesterday. Tim and his wife Mary have 3 children.
I invite you to join me in prayer. O Holy One, we give you thanks for our lives and for this day of endings and new beginnings. After all of the tests and papers, the rehearsals and practices, the club meetings and late night studying, these seniors have arrived at graduation day. God, though we have many diverse ways of understanding you, we acknowledge your presence and action in our lives. We thank you for parents and teachers and staff and the role that they have played in bringing these students to this point. And we thank you for the gifts and skills you have given these young men and women, for your guiding presence in their lives and for your love, which is the ground on which we stand. Be with us in this time of celebration and in the joy that is ours this day. Amen.
Please be seated. Welcome on this glorious Maine day. Welcome to grandparents and parents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, mentors and beloved friends of our graduates. Welcome to Wendy Penley, Chair of Gould's Board of Trustees, Pious Ali, Portland City Councilor, faculty and staff, alumni, and friends in the Bethel community. Finally, and most important of all, welcome to the class of 2017. You'll be graduates shortly, and I want you to take a moment in your mind to see all the faces of people who've gotten you to this point. Family, friends, teachers, coaches, mentors, and people who have given you unexpected gifts of generosity and insight along the way. Now I want you to look around the tent and make eye contact with one of these people. Take a look around, make eye contact with somebody, and give them a knowing smile and a nod of thanks. Just send them a little bit of gratitude. You all have accomplished so much here, and this will always be a place for you to touch ground, to charge your batteries and reconnect with people who know and love you. But now, it is time to go. You've been given the finest education and formative experiences. It's time for you to take what you've learned beyond this campus, to march out and make the world a better place, the place you want it to be for you, for the people you care about, and for the generations to come. It is game on for you, and you have what it takes. We all wish you the best as you leave here to lead lives of purpose, action, excellence, and compassion. You guys are awesome. All right, a quick piece of business. So this is for everyone else. At the end of the ceremony, the graduates will leave first, and they'll form a receiving line in the outfield. Faculty and staff will follow the graduates and pass through the receiving line. This is a chance for each faculty and staff member to personally congratulate each graduate. Families, you don't have to get in line. You should go directly to your student and stay with them until all the hands have been shaken. It's a great chance for pictures. So back to our matter at hand. I'd like to introduce Wendy Penley, Gould Academy Board of Trustees President. Wendy has served on the board since 2007 and became its president in May of 2012. Wendy Penley.
Good morning. It's always a wonderful experience to be part of graduation and to see families and friends who are families come together to celebrate all of you. And it was great last night at the concert, and I hope you all had fun at the end, and I hope you had at least 1 or 2 hours of sleep, although I'm guessing maybe not. It's my honor this morning to introduce our graduation speaker, Pious Ali. He came to New York from Ghana in 2000 to expand his well-regarded career in photojournalism. He said this morning that he had taken pictures of almost everyone in Ghana, from this end to this end to the president, and he decided he needed to expand his horizons, and so he chose New York. Then he came to Portland, working with Volunteers for America and working with youth from every quarter across socioeconomic, ethnic, and conflict divisions. He became involved with Seeds of Peace, which is a camp in Otisfield, and I don't know if you know of this camp, but it was formed to promote leadership development and enhanced communication among youth from conflict-torn regions of the world. And they referred to the campers as seeds who will go out into the world and hopefully change the world to be a less conflict-ridden place. I would encourage you to go on their website if you're interested in reading more. He has worked for many organizations in Portland, almost all of them involving youth, such as Preble Street Resource Center, and he's now at the Muskie School at the University of Southern Maine in education. He founded the Maine Interfaith Youth Alliance and has been recognized for his work across the state. When he was elected to the Board of Education in Portland in 2013, he became the first American-born Muslim American to be elected, African-born Muslim American, to be elected to public office in Maine. He began a practice of holding community meetings on Saturdays so that all members of the Portland community could meet to discuss the educational issues facing that city. Simply stated, he brings people together to learn how to work effectively to better their community. In 2016, he was elected to the Portland City Council as a member at large. During his campaign, the Press Herald endorsed him and stated, "He represents communities within the city that need to be heard." Mr. Ali's life arc gives all of us inspiration to listen compassionately, to be unafraid to speak up, and to be inclusive. Please join me in welcoming this warm-hearted man to Gould.
Class of 2017, you've made it. Welcome everyone, and thank you for the honor to speak to all of you today. My cousins and I were raised by my grandmother in a mud brick house with goats and chickens running around the yard. We were not just families. There were about 25 other children who lived with us. My grandfather used to have a homeschool that in a Muslim world we call madrasa, where other families bring their kids so that they can stay with us and learn how to read a Muslim holy book called the Quran. And my grandmother was one of the people who were teaching these lessons. She was a strong, powerful woman and a model for me. It is from her that I learned that women are smart and capable as any man. When we woke up in the morning, we will run to school, and on our way back from school, some of us will stop by the local farms and pick up food. Farm that is owned by my grandparents, pick up food, and others will go to the market and get stuff that we will use to make dinner. I happen to be the youngest, so I don't have to do all those. But I have to sit in the kitchen and watch my grandmother and my older siblings cook. That is where I learned my skills in the kitchen. Someday I will cook for some of you here. My grandmother ran the house with strict rules. And today I'm a better person because of this. Even though I didn't choose to be her grandson. Growing up in Ghana was more than living on another continent. It was a different way of being. Because it is a different country. When I first moved to the United States in 2000, I lived in New York. And one day, there's a gentleman that we grew up together in Ghana. When we graduated from high school, his parents sent him to a school in Italy. I walked into a house in New York, and he was sitting there. And I asked my friends, how come nobody told me that this gentleman is visiting? And then he said, I come here every week. And I said, do they pay you to come from Italy and visit them? He said, no, I live in Maine. And I'm sure most of you would know what my question was. I asked him, where is Maine? And my friend Ebenezer said, do you see the highway at the back of the room? When you take that highway and you keep driving, don't stop. You will end up in Maine. I learned this to be true. And I started coming to Maine to visit Ebenezer. In 2002, I decided to move here. Before I moved here, there was a day that I was traveling to Ohio to a wedding with one of my cousins that I live with in New York. And we drove past a small town in the middle of nowhere. I looked at the town in the window of the car and I said to him, God, I don't think I'll ever be able to live here. And he said, when he lived in Japan, he used to live in a small town like that was in the middle of nowhere. I laughed at him again, and I said, no, I'm not going to live there. I'm afraid to say that he was right, because he told me that you don't get to choose where you live. And he also said that you don't get to choose your community. There are some things in life where we don't have control. We can't control who our parents are, the color of our skin, the location of our birth, or the resources available to us. However, we can control what we do with our lives. I found my community here in Maine. Initially, when I moved to Maine, my work was in the immigrant community. Then I worked with homeless youth and others who are incarcerated in Portland. 4 years ago, I ran for school board and I got elected. And last year, I was elected to city council, making me the first African-born Muslim to be elected into any public office in Maine. None of this would have been possible if I didn't embrace my community. For the past 4 years, you have been fortunate enough to find your community in Maine. Gould Academy has been your temporary home, a home where your friends and teachers have been the center of your community. You gave your time, your energy, and your heart to this place. It has been part of your identity, and it will forever be part of your identity. Now you are living to continue your journey. Some of you have chosen the colleges or where you want to go. Others may follow family tradition to do what your family have done for generations. There are some of you who are sitting here asking yourselves, what is next? It doesn't matter which group you belong to, your future is unknown. It is a blank landscape, and you have the power to create a story of what it will be. You have the power to decide what you will do in the world. My grandmother taught me many things, but I remember one thing that she always tells all of us, her grandkids and the other kids who live in our household. Your status in this world or in the community that you live in doesn't matter. Be humble. The world has seen people like you before, and long after you are gone, people like you will continue to live. Be open-minded. The world is full of people and things to learn. If you don't open your heart and mind, you will never grow. Don't be judgmental before you know someone. Be compassionate. Recognize what you have in common with others and celebrate both the commonality and the diversity. Use that to foster new relationships. We are lucky that what matters is not what we are given at birth, but how we use it. What matters is what we give to our community, how we make a difference in the world. What matters is our integrity, our honesty, and our compassion. What matters is that we belong to each other, and we have an obligation to honor, assist, and love each other. That is what matters in life. Each of you is an extension of your family and an integral part of your community. You have inherited a world from people who came before you. Remember to leave it in a better shape for those who will follow. Be humble. Stand up for what you believe in. You are capable of changing the world. And I know that because when I ran for school board and city council, about 80% of my volunteers who did everything for my campaign are young people your age. They are high school students and young people who may or may not have participated in the political system, but yet they were able to get me elected into public office. So you have that power. Don't ever underestimate your ability and what you can do. You only have to know you can. And always remember what matters is that you believe in your community. And when you believe in your community believes in you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pius. I'd now like to invite to the stage our student-elected speaker, Mr. Sam McMillan.
How's everyone doing?
Surprise, Mom and Dad. I didn't tell my parents that I was speaking today. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Ali, for that fantastic speech. Thank you, Mrs. Penley and Mr. Ruby. I'd especially like to thank Dr. Clark, who sadly couldn't make it today. Thanks to my parents and my 4 lovely sisters, and of course to the class of 2017 for giving me the honor of speaking today. So I wanted to tell a story, but I couldn't think of a good enough story to tell. So I decided instead just to give everyone some general advice moving forward, which is what everyone wants, life advice from an 18-year-old. Right? So there's a poem I really like by Max Ehrmann called Desiderata, and over the course of my life, and especially while here at the Academy, I've developed a set of rules that I live my life by, and they're sort of derived from this poem. So today I thought I'd share with you a few of these rules, the top 3. First, don't compare yourself with others. Max Ehrmann wrote, "If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always will there be greater or lesser persons than yourself." Using others' achievements and shortcomings to perceive ourselves is pretty natural, it's pretty instinctual, but it's never fulfilling. When we perceive people as less valuable than ourselves, we automatically feel good. And when we feel that people are more valuable than ourselves, we automatically feel threatened. I don't think this is a healthy way to view ourselves, and certainly not a healthy way to view other people. Being truly satisfied has little to do with how you measure up to people. So this year, as seniors, we were subject to perhaps the most toxic environment of comparison ever, the college process. So we were, expected to apply to a group of institutions that can be listed from best to worst, and sorry about that. I don't need it, but I'd like to have it. And it's pretty hard on the ego when you have to look at classmates getting into schools that you didn't, and you getting into schools that your classmates didn't. But what many of us were forced to learn was that college admission, like many things in life, is a gamble. And it's most important to find a decision that works for you. And if you don't like a decision, then you can just transfer schools, that's fine. So that's my first rule, don't compare yourself with others. My second rule is pretty simple. Just listen. That was the rule. I'm not just going to listen. That's the rule. Listen. Max Ehrmann writes, "Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. And listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story." It's so easy to get caught up in your own aspirations and experiences that you forget how much you can learn from the experiences of others. So I would challenge you to listen to people who talk a lot. Who's someone who talks a lot? Oh, Adam left. Listen to Adam Leff. People like Adam Leff. And I mean truly, truly listen to what he has to say. He speaks a lot. He speaks a lot because he has a lot to say. And if you take the time to hear his words, you'll learn a great deal. You'll also be late for your next class. And the flip side, listen to people who don't talk quite as much. People who prefer to sit back and observe and listen, like Kim Drew. If you listen to people like these, if you catch them talking, it's usually something pretty insightful. So finally, and perhaps most importantly, listen to people who bother you, like RJ. Because listening to the people that bother you is the only way that you'll ever come to understand them. And when you do eventually come to understand them, they might still bother you. But you'll also find there was a great deal you were missing. RJ used to bother me a lot. He still does a little bit. If I hadn't taken the time to listen to what he had to say, and he hadn't taken the time to listen to me, we would never be as close as we've become today. So that's my second rule, listen. My third and final rule, and I believe this is perhaps the most important rule: expect change. When I was younger, my dad told me a story about two brothers who stumbled upon a small box from their late father, and inside the box they found two rings. One of the rings was beautiful and gold and had a diamond on it and looked very expensive, and the other ring was old and brass and dirty and didn't look like it could have been worth more than a nickel. The younger brother, who was wiser, knew his father very well and knew that there must have been a reason that ring was in the box. So he took the old brass ring. The older brother was very pleased with this. He took the gold ring, sold it, bought a motorcycle, was very happy for a while, until he spent all the money. And the younger brother was going through a very difficult time in his life and began to wonder why he hadn't chosen the gold ring. Then one day, he noticed an inscription on the inside of the brass ring, which read, "This will change." After a while, he understood why his father had left this ring in the box. His situation, he knew now, was temporary. He knew things would get better. They did get better, of course. He found a job he liked. He found love. He found a place, and he was pleased. But he did not cease to prepare himself for things to change for the worse. And they did, of course, eventually, as they always do. But he remained happy. My dad actually gave me and my sisters rings with this inscription on it so that we wouldn't forget this story. I wanted to wear it today, but I couldn't find it. It's somewhere. So, Max Ehrman writes again, "Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness." This is the rule the younger brother lived by. He never gave up hope in the face of misfortune, and in prosperity, he learned to prepare for misfortune without living in constant fear of it. He had accepted the world as it was. This past week has been difficult for many in my class because it's never easy to say goodbye. Our strength of spirit and our capacity to march on in the face of adversity and change was tested. My three rules, and especially the third, were tested. Moving to the future, and today especially, we must think with the steadiness of the younger brother. I would also challenge you, moving forward, to think of what rules are important to you. This has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. That was pretty good. That was my Sam impression. I'd now like to introduce our valedictory speaker. That means he's our valedictorian, Mr. Sean Sheehan.
Sam said all the thank yous. I'm not going to repeat because I have a lot to say. So here we go. Standing here today is my biggest gift to my parents because I didn't tell them either that I will be standing up here in front of all of you. And they don't really speak English, so 爸爸妈妈想要拿去干我毕业典礼。Thank you. So, without them, I would not have had the chance to come here to Gould Academy and learn to love this place so much that at this point, I don't really want to leave. When I arrived here, I didn't realize the true challenge of being an international student at Gould Academy until April of my freshman year. The first few months were tough for me, as I'm sure it was for any of you coming from some place bigger than Bethel, which is probably all of the boarding students. It was extremely difficult for a city boy like me to understand that there was no way to get ice cream after 8 p.m. since the IJ is already closed at that time. Not to mention that the local and only coffee shop in town is almost always closed when I'm in need of a bagel. All these differences were really shocking to me, as I'm sure they were to many of my fellow seniors. I was lucky to have a very in-depth tour of the town early on during summer camp while helping to search for Luke Cleo after he got lost running on the North Road one morning. Otherwise, I might never have gotten the chance to know my way around the town. But beyond the urban to rural transition, social and cultural identity is an issue many of us had to deal with as we adjusted to living in a boarding school community. As an international student, my roots are in Shanghai, but I've spent a majority of the last 4 years, almost a quarter of my life, here in Bethel. The social and cultural differences have put me between two different identities: Xie Jialing, a Shanghainese boy, and Zhang Zi, a teenager studying at an American boarding school. When that first year at Gould Academy started, being with other Chinese students and continuing to embrace Chinese language and culture didn't seem like a problem. It was comfortable, and I thought my only challenges would be academically, not social or cultural. One sunny morning in April of my freshman year, my alarm went off at 5:45 in the morning. Don't worry, I wasn't waking up to do homework. It was the first morning I would join the Polar Bear Club. The night before, I had been running around the dorm, desperately trying to find another Chinese student to go jump with me into a nearly freezing pond at 6:30 in the morning. My desire to jump into the freezing water the next morning was overwhelming, but I didn't know what to do. I still hadn't figured out my social identity puzzle. I was proud to be Chinese, a boy from Shanghai, and I'm still proud of that today. However, I wasn't sure that was enough. I thought back to the first 8 months of freshman year, and I asked myself, had I truly embraced American culture? I wanted to say yes, but my social identity seemed to hesitate to answer this question. I struggled to get over the urge to stay in my Chinese culture, my Chinese mind, and my Chinese body. What should I do? As I was falling asleep that night, I still didn't know what to do, what choice I would make the next morning. I believe that all of you, not just my fellow seniors, but all of us here today, have had or will have this moment in your life. Being given the choice to try something new on your own is a universal experience, and I am grateful to the Gould community, all of you, for creating an environment where we are encouraged to take that chance. So, when my alarm went off at 5:45 the next morning, I got on a bus by myself and started building relationships with some American friends. We ran together into the pond, and yes, the water hurt. It was really cold. But the cold water cleared my mind and answered my questions. Why had I come here? Before I froze myself in that pond, I was indeed a good student, academically. I did my work. I helped others when they were in need. I tried to answer teachers' questions, and I did my best to participate in class discussions. but it probably seemed like, to most teachers, I was just a typical Asian student, simply there to study. The frigid water that morning of my first polar bear evoked so many thoughts and memories of those first 8 months at Gould. On one of the very first days of my freshman year, I was walking on campus and I had no idea who was who. Someone was walking towards me. All I knew was that she was a teacher with very fluffy hair. She walked by me and said, "Hey Sean, how's it going?" I was totally shocked. I didn't know who she was, but she could already greet me by name so naturally in the first week of school. I thought she remembers this small event from 4 years ago today. She sometimes has trouble remembering her keys. But the truth is that those small things evoke the feeling of community and care I associate with my time at Gould. Another day, around the beginning of freshman year, I was late to English class, and all the tables were full. I naturally grabbed a chair between 2 other students. I still remember the surprise on their faces. What did I do? I asked myself, it turns out I had sat down between Kim and Marcus. How was I supposed to have known that they were dating, or that students were even allowed to date in school here? But after that awkward beginning, I had a very pleasant class that year, and I got to know both of them through many conversations during English class. Sorry, Mr. Riley. In the icy water of polar bear that morning, I realized that making the effort to get to know people worked. Pushing myself out of my culture and social comfort zones became less scary. And I realized my classmates from other cultures were not trying to exclude me. People are kind here. And thinking back, the Gould community has fostered my appreciation towards my school, my life, and the people around me. That April morning, shivering in that freezing pond, I decided that I did not want to just survive in this environment. I wanted to live a life here. I had my first real hiking experience at Gould. I say real because Chinese hiking usually means walking upstairs on the side of a steep hill. First time swimming in a pond, first time mountain biking, first time riding horse, first time dancing at school, first time playing in a chamber group, first time having a girlfriend, first time camping, canoeing, making creme brulee, snowboarding, teaching, baking, and driving. Almost all of my experiences over the past 4 years are thanks to being part of this amazing community. I'm sure all of my fellow graduates can think of just as many firsts as they've had here at Gould. Taking the first step of reaching out to my fellow students and my teachers allowed me to become part of something bigger, something that I never would have known existed had I stayed stuck in my comfortable Chinese zone. Last week was my final polar bear as Gould student, and all the good memories from the past 4 years filled my mind as I jumped into the cold water again. It was pouring rain. The coldness of the water was so familiar, but at the same time, different from my first dip from 4 years ago. My first dip into the water pushed me towards embracing the people and culture around me and living the life I wanted to live. My last dip in the water caused all the memories to come floating back. It feels like I can, at least for now, put a period at the end of my answer to my identity question. I'm ready to move on as a college student to become a real polar bear in Brunswick, Maine. I'm extremely proud of what we all have done here in the past 4 years. And it doesn't matter if those experiences were with Chinese friends, American friends, friends from other countries, or some combination. It is no longer a puzzle in my mind. Before my first polar bear dip, I tried hard to stay true to my Chinese self. However, I changed on that cold morning, and I've been changing ever since. Today, a week after my last dip, I'm confident in saying that a little bit Chinese and a little bit American mixed together is the solution that worked best for me. Each of my fellow graduates has their own different combinations that has worked for them. One of the greatest things about being part of this community is the diversity of experiences available to us. Today, I'm still proud to be Chinese, especially Shanghainese, because Shanghai is the best city in China. But if I have two cultural identities I can draw from, why not take advantage of the best of both? I will not be the same person today if I did not do my best to acknowledge my Chinese half and American half at the same time. To my amazing classmates and returning students, there is no need to hide parts of yourselves. Don't leave them unseen. Show your true selves and embrace the differences within you and in those around you. And you should be proud. Be proud of yourself, be proud of your culture and cultures, and at the same time, respect those who share themselves with you. As we move on to college, please don't forget Gould or Bethel, or me. These places have shaped us. No matter where we are originally from, we're moving on, not just as graduates from Gould, but the sum of all of our experiences at home and with those sitting all around us. Thank you. Speech with a final formal announcement from our Dean of Community Life, Pete Haddon.
That was part of the residential rumble. So residential rumbles here are the different constituencies get together and have battles, all kinds, you know, cognitive, physical, everything. And we had Sean kept score all year, and Holden won.
These guys are awesome. Jilin Mama, 谢谢. Yeah. So at this time, we'll announce student awards. You'll notice a few that are in the program won't be announced today because we awarded them in a previous ceremony. We begin with the Scholarship Shield. Presented by the class of 1930, on which is inscribed the name of the school's valedictorian for the year. And valedictorian at Gould is the top academic member of the senior class who has been at Gould for the last 2 years. As we know, the next name to be inscribed is that of Sean Xie. Now I'd like to acknowledge those seniors who have achieved a cumulative average of 90 or above for their years at Gould. Seniors, as we recognize your distinguished academic performance, please stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Matthew Bennett, Kath Sy, Noah Carrier, Kimberly Drew, Skylar Leff, Jesse Lowe, Haley Liu, Liam Pierce, Bill Wong, Marcus Wentworth, Sean Xie, Jerry Yi, and Oscar Yem. In 2014, Gould Academy was granted charter with the Cum Laude Society. The society was founded in 1906 to recognize scholastic of seniors in secondary schools. The object of the Cum Laude Society is to promote learning and sound scholarship. At this time, I would like to announce the names of the senior class members of the Gould Academy Cum Laude Society. Again, please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all names have been called. Kath Sy, Luke Muir, Liam Pierce, Skylar Neff, Zoe Bean, Victor Jean, Noah Carrier, Marcus Wentworth, Haley Liu, Kim Drew, Matthew Bennett, and Sean Shea. And now the academic book prizes.
It is with great pleasure that I present the Academic English Book Award for Excellence in the English Classroom to Kim Drew.
It's with great pleasure to present this award on behalf of the History Department to Marcus Wentworth.
I'm proud to present the Math Award to Sean Shea.
It's my pleasure to present the Science Award this year to Matthew Bennett.
So I am very happy to present the award in computer science to Matthew Bennett.
A microphone. On behalf of the World Languages Department, I'm proud to offer the French, Mandarin, and Spanish Book Awards this year to 3 very deserving individuals. Already an accomplished linguist, this student became impassioned with the French language and saw the study of French as an opportunity to give free rein to his creativity. Always original, ever pushing the limits of his language skills, this student never hesitates to share his joie de vivre with others in both the classroom and outside of it as a stalwart Language Center tutor. It's with great pride that I present this year's Book Award in French to Sean Shea. Hardworking and dedicated, this student helps to bring an air of gravitas to the classroom. A strong and confident individual, learned in and outside of the classroom, it's with great pleasure that I present this year's Book Award in Mandarin to Haley Liu. ever passionate and globally minded. This student is poised and professional in her interactions both in and out of the classroom. Always on the lookout for an opportunity to interact in Spanish, this student has put her language skills to use in trips abroad and in discussions with our Spanish language community here on campus. On behalf of the Department of World Languages, I present the Spanish Book Award to Zoe Bean.
I am pleased on behalf of the Performing Arts Department to award the Book Award in Theater to a young lady who has not only been in the musicals but also the plays and has done some work backstage as well, and that is Miss Zoe Bean. This year's Book Award in Technical Theater goes to a young man that's only spent 1 year with us but has shown great skill in the area of technical theater, and that's Mr. Adam Melk.
Good morning. On behalf of the Visual Arts Department, I'm happy to present the Book Award this year to Christina Sherabin-Scott. The Rhode Island School of Design President's Award. The Rhode Island School of Design established its annual art award in 1984. Each year, a select number of secondary schools with noteworthy programs in the visual arts are invited by RISD's president to nominate an accomplished artist from the senior class to receive this distinction. Teachers are asked to consider several criteria in making their nomination, including the students' efforts and achievements in the arts, their overall academic achievement, their creativity and talent, and this year I'm proud to announce that Ting Ting Kat Tsai is the Gale A. Foster Award. Gale A. Foster was an instructor at Gould Academy. He taught photography, physics, and operated the camera club. As a photographer, he gained an international reputation. This award, to his memory, was given by Martin Beauvais, class of 46, one of his students who is currently a professional photographer. The award given to the student who has exhibited the most outstanding in work for photography is Thomas Bozzacelli.
The Ralph Gould Music Award. Awarded to the graduating senior for improvement, excellence, and contribution to the school in the area of music. The Ralph Gould Music Award consists of a token gift and an invitation to select and present to the Academy some object relevant and useful in academic or extracurricular music. The recipient of the award this year is a young man who will be
very, very missed, especially by me, since one thing, he's my advisee. It's Oscar Yen.
Outstanding Senior Athletes. These awards, the Joe Roderick Award for boys and the Frances Highbury Award for girls, recognizes a senior boy and girl for outstanding competitive spirit through example and overall competence in athletics. The female award, the Frances Highbury Award, named in honor of Highbury, who taught at Gould from 1957 to 1978 and for many years coached the girls' basketball and softball teams. As a coach, he worked to instill teamwork, good sportsmanship, and pride in playing for the school. Given each year to the senior girl who has exhibited outstanding competitive spirit, leadership by example, and overall competence in athletics. The recipient of this award is also to one of my advisees, Haley Poisson. And for the male award, the Joe Roderick Award. Joe taught physical education at Gould for 29 years. In addition, he coached football and acted as the athletic trainer for all sports. His encouragement and enthusiasm for athletes were a positive influence on many Gould graduates. Given each year to the boy who has exhibited outstanding competitive spirit, leadership by example, and overall competence in athletics, the recipient of this year's award goes to Marcus Wentworth.
On behalf of the snow sports team, I'm going to do the William P. Clough III Award. William P. Clough III was head of school at Gould Academy from 1983 to 2001. And this award was created upon his retirement to give to an athlete that has demonstrated outstanding character, attitude, and leadership. I just kind of got a little choked there. I did have the pleasure of working under Bill, and the recipient of this award is Haley Poisson.
The Gould Academy Alumni Association Award. The Alumni Award is presented by vote of the faculty to a student who is a son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter of a Gould Academy alumnus or alumna, and who best reflects the high standards of the Gould Academy Alumni Association and the school's motto, "To thine own self be true." This year, the award is presented to Alice Pelletier.
On behalf of the Senior 4-Point team, we have the Senior 4-Point Book Award. And before I describe to you the criteria for that, I want to tell you that all that matters is that this student did an amazing job and struggled mightily in the process. This Senior 4-Point Book Award is awarded to that senior whose project best exemplifies the three values at the heart of all Gould endeavors: the energy to try, the willingness to risk, and the capacity to tolerate. The award is presented this year to Christina Sherbaya. Here you go.
In case you wonder, it's Sharabinskaya.
Just gonna throw my shoe again. The Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award. Jan and Lorenzo Baker devoted 35 years to Gould Academy, challenging students to be courageous and open to the world around them. Art Department head Jan Baker inspired students to explore new perspectives and techniques for artistic expression. Dean of Community Life Lorenzo Baker helped students become strong individuals and leaders within their community. The Jan and Lorenzo Baker Award is bestowed upon a member of the senior class who best exemplifies the qualities that the Bakers fostered: personal courage, an adventurous and creative approach, a clear vision of him or herself and their world. I am pleased to announce that this year's award goes to Sam McMillan.
The Owinga Citizenship Award. It's named for Dr. Marvin T. Owinga, history teacher at Gould for 30 years, and his wife, Tinika Owinga, French teacher for also 30 years. This scholarship is awarded to a member of the Gould student body who embraces the spirit in which both the Owingas live their lives through acts of selflessness and thoughtful humanitarianism. The recipient, of the Owinga Citizenship Award is Colby Snow. The Annie Daly Crushane Award. This award is given in memory of Annie Daly Crushane, class of 1986. It celebrates the spirit of student involvement in social, political, and environmental causes. The award is in two parts: a monetary contribution to a cause which Annie believed in and worked for, and an inscribed cup presented to a Gould Academy student who reflects Annie's determination to make the world a better place. The recipient of the award this year is Haley Poisson.
The Linwood Lindy Lowell Award. Senior class votes. Lindy Lowell, the senior class votes for Lindy Lowell, who worked maintenance at Gould Academy for over 30 years, always with a smile, a kind word, or a helping hand for anyone in need. By vote of the senior class, the Lindy Lowell Award is given to that member of the senior class whose friendly personality and helpful nature has brightened the lives of his or her fellow students and the Gould community. I am pleased to announce that this year's recipient is Haley Poisson.
The Melmac Principal Scholarship. This $1,500 scholarship is awarded to a graduating senior who's made a difference in the lives of others and that of his or her community. A solid school citizen involved in extracurricular activities, a student who has exhibited a commitment to public service, and an individual with the potential to make a difference in the world. This year's Melmac Principal Scholarship recipient is Marcus Wentworth. The town of Newry presents a monetary gift to each of the graduating seniors who are full-time residents of Newry. This year's recipient is Claire Webster.
Get it, Claire.
The Elwood F. Ireland Award. The late Elwood F. Ireland, headmaster of Gould Academy from 1940 to 1959, created an award upon his retirement which went to the boy and girl of the senior class who exemplify service, leadership, and character. I am pleased to announce that by faculty vote, the award this year goes to Colby Snow and Hyun Min Johnny Mo. Our last award is the Headmaster's Bowl. The Headmaster's Bowl is awarded to the senior who has exhibited the highest standards of scholarship, character, and service to the school, and participation in activities of the school. This year's recipient is Sean Xie. It is now our great pleasure to grant the 2017 Academic Diplomas. We begin with our valedictorian, Xie Jialin. Ellen Abayo. Nathaniel Leroy Aiken. Artun Akoyun. Shotika Apaipati. Bonjour. Nathaniel Joseph Peroni. Zoe Libby Bean. Matthew Charles Bennett. Priscilla Verdeja. Vizhyayeva Sophie Yevgenyevna. Forrest Michael Boucher. Thomas William Bulzachelli, Jr. Junho Byung. Tsai Sin Sin. Noah Alexander Carrier. Matthew Paul Jason. George Marshall Connors. Luis Eduardo Corona Parra. Emmett Samuel Dorval Hall. Kimberly Liska Drew. Alex Michael Duclos. Luis Gonzalo Lopez Gala. Emily Louise Halporn. Richard Joseph Hoagie. William Estabrook Horgan. Kiernan Gunn Huggins. Raymond Joseph Charles Humphreys. Thank you, Kathleen. Jin Anshihui. Junho Kim. Christopher David Konvalinka. Jasper Gould Lagoida. Skylar Francois Addison Leff. Yo Ching Yuen. Loi Yi Chu. Wu Kon Yao. Samuel James McMillan. Adam John Melk. Hyunmin Mo. Natithorn Nutklang. Alice Bethany Pelletier. Liam Holden Pierce. Haley Dorothy Poisson. Lucas Frades Roldan. Donald Raymond Seib III. Sarabinskaya Kristina Sergeyevna. Shen Yu Fan. Niles Henry Hayden Shepley. Colby Rose Snow. Henry Rupert Stark. Ella Mercedes Sulloway. Wang Hao Kai. Claire Kulik Webster. Marcus Albert Wentworth. Yi Hao Nan. Yen Suo Hung. Victor Zhang. Zhou Qin Yi. Mrs. Penley, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you the Gould Academy class of 2017.
Let's join together in prayer. God, as these graduating seniors prepare to leave this place and to go out into the world, bless and be with them in their journeys. May they carry with them a determination to bring about positive change in the world. May they seek to be compassionate citizens who can bring new insights and energy to bear on addressing issues. And may their years at Gould Academy be a foundation for lifelong learning and growth. May they never be too complacent or comfortable about the way things are, God, but inspire them to keep pushing for change in a better world. And in this time of celebration, may they be safe and to make good decisions. Amen.